Hey guys, LunarTzuyu here, also known as Mossman. Today I wanted to review the newly released RGB unit, Hecate. Um, I know a lot of people around me have been saying that they were looking forward to this unit a lot because they like her design. And yeah, I want to just go straight into it. I want to give an overview of her skills and kind of just talk a little bit about her place in the meta. So let's start off with her first skill. This is going to be Reaper Scythe. Attacks the enemy with Sigurd Scythe before increasing self CR by 20%. When used on the caster's turn, activates Final Deliverance as an extra attack. So this is going to be an AoE that gives her stealth and then decreases skill cooldowns by 2 turns. So basically, these days DPS really needs some sort of modern like peel or like self mitigation, some way for them to have like survivability so that they don't just get one shot. And so in this hero's case, she does give herself stealth. Um, One thing to note is that this is going to be a single target into AoE, and then she decreases her own cooldowns, and then the skill enhance is just damage. So that's her S1. And then this S2 is a pretty strong passive. Some people might compare it to Briar Witch, although they are a bit different because Briar Witch prevents revive. This hero also prevents revive, but they also prevent the immortality, which is a buff that you've definitely been seeing here and there, like with Lady of the Scales. But even with heroes such as Bloodblade Karen or Amiki, all those heroes cannot get their immortality. Um, and then one thing to note is that her attacks do have 100% defense pen, and she cannot crit. So when you're building her, you definitely do not want any crit chance or crit damage because they're useless stats for her. And then her skill enhances just increase the amount of defense penetration that she gets, which is why we see this 100% here. And then finally, her skill 3, Inescapable Demise. One thing I want to point out is the Soulburn, which is a 10 souls and it gives her a gab for 3 turns. So that's something to take note of. So right now, instead of the Soulburn, she gets the increased attack. So self-attack buff, but with Burn, obviously she gets gab instead. And this is a 3-turn buff, and she attacks the enemy by releasing the Force of the Netherworld. When this target is a hero, so basically in any sort of PvP content, I mean, you probably would not, well, maybe. At least I have not been using Hecate in any PvE content as of yet. But in any case, when this target is a hero, it ignores damage share, which is pretty cool. And then one thing to note is that it begins the first battle with a full skill cooldown count. So typically people have been building Hecate on the new Warfare set so that they can S3 immediately. And if you have Soulburn as well, then this skill can do quite a bit of damage, which is definitely nice. Um, but people are not really, her S1 and S3 are cool and all, but they're not really the reason why she would be picked. If you were to pick Hecate in RTA, it would be for this passive, which, obviously ignores revives and it also ignores immortality. So people have been using it into heroes such as Lady of the Scales, which is obviously a very notoriously oppressive unit for the last couple of seasons of RTA. A lot of people have said that they use Scales as a hero that doesn't really have counters, and even if you pick heroes to try to counter the immortality mechanics, such as Veronica, it can still lead to some very awkward situations when actually played out, which is why clearly they released Hecate to try to counter these immortality users. Um, in practice, I have not really seen Hecate too much in my PvP games. Um, I don't think she's a bad hero by any means, but I do think that she can be a little hard to use at points. I definitely want to do some more testing on my own with this hero, and I definitely don't think she's bad. And of course, I do think she has a cool character design, like a lot of my friends have been saying. So I do kind of want to use her more to have a more comprehensive perspective on how good she really is. But I definitely don't think she's bad, and I do think this passive is very strong. Not only negating revives, but also negating immortality. I think that's a stacked passive that maybe will age pretty well as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this unit will continue to shape up in our Epic 7 meta. But yeah, this has been Mossman, aka LunarTzuyu. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.